Hi, it's Gary with Successful Gardens, and today we're going to be talking about the aftercare of amaryllis bulbs. And once they're done blooming, what do you do? As you can see with this amaryllis, the blossoms are far spent. I normally would have cut these off by now, but I wanted to save it so I can show you the different stages of the blossom decline and what you can do. And when a blossom actually gets to this point, hopefully you've already have cut off the stalk, the flower stalk. As you can see, I've had to support it. It was getting so heavy on this. I had a double bloom or a double stalk on this particular bulb. And so with that, I'm just going to take my regular pruners. You might not have a pair of floral pruners. What you can actually use is just a good old pair of sharp scissors. And so I'll just show you on this particular one the way to cut these blossoms off. With this blossom, you can see the flower stalk, how it has started to just wither away. And so all you need to do is come down next to the bulb and cut it off. Now I'm going to take that flower support I had on, and then on this side, here's the second stalk, where this particular flower stalk has started to wither so far, has deteriorated so far. I'm just going to go ahead and prune it or cut it off all the way down to the bulb, the neck of the bulb also. And so that will be there. Now, as you can see with this, the foliage, the regular leaves, are still in good, healthy condition. And this is actually what you want. This bulb or these flowers are going to continue to grow. They'll be green through all summer long. And this is how the bulb actually gets its energy for producing the next flower stalk or flower bud in the coming months. So I want these leaf stalks, the foliage stalks, to continue to grow. Now, you can see the length on these. They're at least 24 inches long. And usually like this, they get nice and droopy. And so then they'll bend or they'll crack from that weight. So you want to be able to support these leaves up. I have 2 stakes that I had to support the flower stem, so I'm going to leave those in place. And then I'm going to use some jute rope. Just tie this off on one side here. And this will allow me to have enough room to hold those flower leaves up. This particular amaryllis, I planted it in a decorative vase, glass vase. I added some old antique marbles. It's slowly starting to develop some roots, but holy cow, did it perform this year. It gave me 3 bloom stalks, and they started to get so heavy that I had to put 3 supports in here because the stalks were growing so tall and so fast that it started tipping over. And so I put 3 bamboo rods in here. And so I wouldn't damage the flower stalks. I actually put just some regular old Scotch tape on to create that support for this plant. Now, one thing though, as you can start to see, the flowers are starting to fade. But if you look here in the top, I still have some new buds still coming on. So obviously this isn't one that you're going to want to cut off all the way down the stalk. So you just reach in, and right at the top, you can just go ahead and clip out the old spent blossoms. Careful not to damage any of the others. And then just take a look at it. You can see the various stages. Here's a bud that's probably going to be a couple more days before it actually opens up, and then by the time it's done flowering, I still have another week to 10 days of blooms on this flower. So this has probably been one of the best flowers I had bloom this year. out of all my Amaryllis. This is Red Lion. It grew beautiful foliage with its flower stalk this year. So these flowers are in great shape. I probably have 4, maybe 7 days left with these blossoms. It all depends on the your room temperature. The cooler temperatures from the windows behind me have caused a slower process of growing for all of the plants, so which is great. It has I can prolong flowers. The plants are a little slower in producing. Some of these bulbs that I have behind me, I haven't seen a flower stalk yet, but there's 2 of them that I have hope on it. So I might actually even get Amaryllis blooming all the way into February. On this double white one, as I was showing you in cutting and removing the blossoms, why you want to do that, especially while you are trying to get the bulbs to regenerate and produce and store the energy for next year. Right here at the very top, you can see a swelling at the base of the flower stem. And what it will do, that is where the seeds bulbs will actually grow seeds with its flowers. And so that's why you want to make sure after a flower wilts away that you actually cut that flower off up here, because this swelling is where the seeds produce and in a flower. And so if it's going to produce seeds, all the energy from the leaves and the bulb is growing and producing will send all that energy up into those seed pods. You don't want those to do that. So you want the energy directed down into the bulb, and so all that energy can go into next year's flowers. Now that you have these bulbs in various stages, where you've cleaned them up, you've cut the flower stalks off, now is a good time to also go in and supplement or add fertilizer to the plant. I've got a organic fertilizer here. This is the package actually split on me, so I had to put it in a container, but this happens to be a brand called Happy Frog. It's an organic fertilizer, so it's going to be a slower breakdown process when in releasing its nutrients. So with this fertilizer, what I would do, this is a tablespoon, and you just want to do a top coat to all of your bulbs that have already produced their bloom. I will give a dose of this organic fertilizer about once every 2 or 3 months. It's a slower process, but what I do to supplement that is I will take a water-soluble fertilizer. That's usually the blue kind that you just add to water. And this happens to be a Fertilome 20-20-20. It's a balanced fertilizer. I've already mixed up some fertilizer here, and then I just go in and do a top dressing. I do this watering with fertilizer twice a month. All right, so there we have it. The aftercare of Amaryllis bulbs, so that you can get them to bloom, get them ready to bloom, and be healthy to bloom next year. Thanks for watching this video on the aftercare of Amaryllis bulbs. Hopefully you have found something beneficial and learned from it, and that you're excited about growing your Amaryllis bulbs on throughout the summer and then saving them for next year. Please consider subscribing to this channel. This is Gary with Successful Gardens, and remember, let's get growing.